Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The text came in at 11:47 p.m. Don't panic, just crashing at a friend's. I blinked at the glowing screen, the words blurring slightly as my brain tried to make sense of them. The house was silent, save for the faint ticking of the wall clock and the distant hum of the refrigerator. Outside, rain tapped gently against the kitchen window. I stared at her message again, the casual tone, the forced reassurance. Don't panic. Why would I panic? My wife, Mia, had gone to a work dinner. She'd mentioned it offhandedly that morning, lips brushing mine distractedly as she grabbed her bag. She'd worn that deep emerald dress, the one she usually reserved for special events. Slim fit, delicate neckline, her perfume lingering long after she left. I had told myself not to overthink it. But now, nearly midnight, she wasn't home. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. At a friend's, she said. I typed back, at a motel named Friend. The words looked colder once I sent them. 3 dots appeared. Then vanished. Then nothing. The silence after that message felt heavier than the rain outside. My heart pounded so loudly it seemed to echo in the room. I got up, pacing the kitchen tiles barefoot. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe she really was with someone from work. Maybe she had too much to drink. Maybe. But no. My gut twisted with something primal, something that whispered you already know. I grabbed my jacket and keys, the phone clenched in my palm. The streets shimmered with wet asphalt as I drove, windshield wipers slicing through the drizzle. My mind played a slideshow of the last few months. Mia's sudden late nights, her vague explanations, the way she guarded her phone like it was sacred. The scent of cologne that wasn't mine clinging to her jacket once. The way she had started laughing at her messages, then locking her screen when I walked by. Every memory hit like a jab to the ribs. I didn't even know where I was going until I reached her office district. A few restaurants and bars dotted the area, their neon lights cutting through the rain. Most were closing now, except for one motel nearby, the kind that rented rooms by the hour. Its sign flickered red against the dark sky, the Haven. I pulled over, engine idling. My fingers drummed against the steering wheel. I wanted to believe I was wrong. That I'd drive home, feel foolish, crawl into bed, and wake up to her beside me, smiling, saying she'd stayed over at Claire's or Nina's or anyone's. But I couldn't move. Then her car appeared. Mia's blue sedan rolled into the parking lot, her headlights briefly illuminating the rain-slicked curb before she turned them off. My stomach dropped. I ducked lower in my seat. My pulse was erratic. She stepped out, hair slightly damp, heels clicking softly. She wasn't alone. A man got out from the passenger side. Tall. Confident. The kind of casual arrogance that didn't need to announce itself. He reached for her hand, and she didn't pull away. They walked together under the motel's awning, laughing quietly. She tilted her head toward him the same way she used to tilt it toward me when I told her something sweet. The man touched her lower back as they entered. My breath caught in my throat. The sound of rain grew distant, replaced by a dull ringing in my ears. I sat there, frozen, every part of me screaming to storm in, to demand answers, to tear that illusion of don't panic apart. Instead, I just watched. Watched her disappear behind that door marked room 12. I didn't know how long I stayed there. Long enough for my fingers to go numb on the steering wheel. Long enough for the motel lights to blur through the mist of tears I didn't want to admit were there. By the time I drove home, dawn was breaking. The world outside was quiet, unknowing. I sat on the couch, staring at the framed photo on the mantel, our wedding day. Her smile so bright, her eyes locked on me. We had promised each other forever. At 6:13 a.m., the front door opened softly. Mason. Her voice was careful, testing. I didn't answer. She entered the living room, still in the same dress, makeup smudged just slightly. I didn't want to wake you. Where were you? I asked, my tone flat, almost detached. She hesitated. I told you. At a friend's. At the Haven Motel. Her breath caught. Just for a second. Then she recovered. What are you talking about? I saw you, Mia. You and him. The silence that followed was heavier than any scream. She blinked slowly, lips parting as if searching for the right lie. Then she sat down across from me, hands trembling slightly. "It wasn't supposed to happen," she said softly. "He's from work. It just happened. It just happened." I repeated, tasting the bitterness in every syllable. Like an accident. Like slipping on ice. Tears welled in her eyes. "Mason, please. I was lonely. You've been so distant lately. You barely look at me anymore. I didn't mean to." "You didn't mean to." I stood, the anger finally breaking through the numbness. "You lied to me. Over and over. You made me think I was paranoid." She buried her face in her hands. "I know. I hate myself for it." I turned away, staring out the window where the rain had finally stopped. The morning light filtered in, pale and cold. "What are we now, Mia?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer. Just sat there, sobbing softly into her palms. Hours passed before she finally packed a small bag. She paused at the door, eyes swollen, voice hoarse. "I'm sorry, Mason. For everything." I didn't reply. When the door closed behind her, the silence felt final. I walked back to the couch, the phone still lying there on the table. Her message was still open. "Don't panic, just crashing at a friend's." I stared at it for a long time, then typed one final message, not for her, but for myself. "You taught me the meaning of calm, Mia. The kind that comes when there's nothing left to break." Then I deleted the thread. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds, weak but persistent. The kind of light that didn't warm anything, only revealed what was already ruined. And as I sat there, surrounded by the echoes of promises that once meant forever, I realized that sometimes betrayal doesn't end with rage or revenge. Sometimes, it just ends with silence.